movement. We have discussed already the what's the movement, the reason for the formation of the movement, and we were talking about the activities of the movement. So we've discussed the first Khilafat conference. Do you remember?
Yes, sir.
First Khilafat conference we discussed. We discussed the second Khilafat conference. First one. We discussed the second one, and the non-cooperation movement of Gandhi, and the deputation was sent to the Viceroy. A delegation was sent to the to England to persuade British to treat Turkey fairly. But then we talk about Treaty of Sevres. Did we talk about Treaty of Sevres?
No, sir.
Oh, no. Who is this? Treaty of Sevres. Hmm? Okay, now listen to me. Follow properly. Uh, First conference, second conference, non-cooperation movement. Are these three activities under the Khilafat movement clear? Are these activities clear? Do I need to repeat 10 times? Why aren't you responding? Why are you not unmuting your mic and saying this, Abdur Rahman, those who are on the cam, I can see. You're
Yes, sir.
sitting.
Yes.
What do you mean by yes, sir? Abdur Rahman,
Yes, sir.
did you hear the question I asked?
No, sir. My network is
No.
not.
Okay, network is not. Okay. Zain Ahmed, did you hear?
Yes, sir.
Then respond as well. Okay. So first conference, second conference, non-cooperation movement. Are these three activities what we discuss under Khilafat movement? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Treaty of Sevres, when they sent the delegation in January 20, the Treaty of Sevres came about. What was the Treaty of Sevres? It was about Turkey. It was about Ottoman Empire. And what did it say? All of you need to have pen pencil with you, and you need to take notes. Whatever we do in the class, you need to take notes. You are not going to sit idle, like just listening and not even listening. And those who are not turning the cam on, there are 14 and we are 4 here on the cam, so 10 are not turning the cam on, and I will mark you absent. Other than these 4 students, you are not in the class. Okay, so let's begin with the Treaty of Sevres. Now, Treaty of Sevres was announced, and what was it? It was that the Ottoman Empire to be split up. Arabia made independent. Turkey, other possessions in Middle East were placed under Britain and France. Turkey's land were given to Greece, and its size was reduced to only the area around Istanbul. So this was Treaty of Sevres. So they British were prepared to treat Turkey the same way they treated Austria or Germany. Is it clear?
Yes, sir, it's
Yes,
clear.
sir.
Okay,
Yes,
so
sir. Clear.
Treaty of Sevres here you can see, Treaty of Sevres here you can see, and also Treaty of Sevres mentioned on the last page here. Read on. So during from this point, so this paragraph is also about Treaty of Sevres in August 1920. So this is also 4-mark question. So these two paragraphs, complete information about, so you can follow from here. Conceptually, you know what was the treaty? It was to split up the Turkey, its land to be taken away, its size to be reduced. Is it clear?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Oh, okay. Now, this treaty was like came about, and British, you know, and Allied power, France, etc. They announced this treaty. But when this treaty came, so what was in India? The reaction of the Indian. So the reaction was this: that they sent a message to the viceroy. Who's the viceroy? British ruler in India, right? The viceroy. And they said that if this treaty, unfair treaty, were imposed on Turkey, so what will happen? That non-cooperation movement will begin in August 19, on 1st August, right? So this warning was sent to the viceroy if this happens. And meanwhile, Gandhi began to tour India. So this is what was happening in India. Now Muslims were on protest, Hindus were on protest, everybody was on protest against the British. Reasons: number one, the protection of Khilafat movement, mainly by the Muslim side. Hindus were protesting against the British because they were not happy with MCR, Roller Act, or Amritsar massacre. So a general anti-British protest was going on. So this is also another, you can say, another course of the movement, activity under the movement, that this whole movement became a general anti-British protest. There were demonstrations, strikes everywhere, and even the royal visits were disrupted, and they faced with challenges. So Prince of Wales, for example, visited Bombay in 1921. Nationwide strikes and demonstration in Bombay led to anti-British rioting. 53 people died. British, in order to suppress this opposition to them, they used power, and by 1921, 30,000 people were imprisoned in jails, and the movement was in full swing in this period of time, 1920 and 21. So whole India was anti-British. Is this point clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
clear.
sir.
Okay, okay. Uh, Under the movement, then the next important development was Hijrat movement. What is Hijrat, do you know? If you know anything about Hijrat, what does it mean?
Sir, in Hijrat movement, many thousands of Muslims migrated to Afghanistan in 1920.
Yes, in 1920, 18,000 Muslims migrated to Afghanistan because India was declared Darul Harb, enemy's territory, and Muslims were not able to practice their religion. So these people left. When these people left,
Sir?
yes.
Sir, can you please explain the anti-British protest again?
Look, anti-British protest mean that in India now there was a environment. You know that Indian and British were ruling, like British were ruling with the cooperation of the Indians, and Indians were serving British. They were doing jobs with them in army and everything. So it was like cooperation. The Indian cooperating the British mainly. So this is how India was being controlled by the British. But now in 1920 and 21, there was a nationwide opposition to the British rule. Nationwide opposition mean that Hindus were protesting, Muslims were protesting, and others were protesting. So this became a general environment which was anti-British. So people were on strikes, mean they were not going to the offices, they left their offices, they left their law practice, they boycott British judicial system, they boycott school, colleges, etc. So all strikes, the Indian workers, Indian manpower force, which was working with the British in their government system, was not anymore working with them. So strikes, demonstration, people were coming here and there, rallies, processions were organized, and sometimes they became very violent, as you see in Bombay in 1921. Some 53 people died, and elsewhere there were also scene of violence and evidences of violence. So this is anti-British protest. Is it clear?
Sir, very clear. Thank you.
Okay. Now the Hijrat movement, and other addition to the Khilafat movement, that these 18,000 Muslims, 20 migrated to Afghanistan. They were told that Afghan government was going to welcome them, and they will have fertile land, and they will dwell there, and they will have good life, live there according to their religion. But once they reached there, they found that they were refused entry, not to welcome, but refuse entry, and they were forced to go back. And when they reached back to their places, they were in misery. They had no houses to live, they had no shelter, no food, no job, nothing, no property, etc. So they were in real difficult situation. So because of this Hijrat movement disaster, the Khilafat movement also now started losing its support. You can well understand that when 18,000 people were misled in a way, that they were told they go, and these people went and they were refused entry, they came back. Were they any more enthusiastic supporter of the movement? Would they be?
Sir, were they the people or the government?
Who?
So, like you said, the government welcomed them, but like, it also
No,
could be
no,
like when they went over there, the people refused to let entry.
no, no,
So
no,
was it
no.
the government?
It is not. Look, entry refusal is usually by the authorities, not by the people. You understand? If there is such type of a thing, it is always done by the people, by the governments, authorities, like who is coming, who is going in, and your border is controlled by the government, policy made by the government. People, if they are in opposition to that party in their country, they can oppose that decision, but they are not the party to decide about this. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So 18,000 people, when they came back, they lost their faith in the movement. So from here now, we are actually also working on the reasons for failure of the movement or problems for the movement. So this was the first setback, you can say, for the movement. So reason for failure. So failure or movement was in difficulty. And this adding next starting the Khilafat movement in difficulty. So first difficulty was the failure of Hijrat movement. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Failure of
Yes.
Hijrat movement. Okay, now the non-cooperation movement, or be it Hijrat movement, the anti-British protest was there. And this, because of this, when situation was getting out of control, so what British did, as we read before, that by 1921 30,000 political prisoners, like jails were filled with the people. And in this regard also, they started now arresting the leaders of the movement, Khilafat movement. So Ali brothers were arrested, Mulana Muhammad Ali Jawhar, Mulana Shaukat Ali were arrested, Ali brothers were arrested, and other important leaders were also arrested. And with arrest of the leader, when a movement do not have leaders, so what happens? Definitely it lose support and enthusiasm. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So this is a second setback to the movement. What was the first setback? You know what a
Sir.
setback means? Yes,
Sir,
please.
the failure of the Hijrat movement.
Failure of the Hijrat movement. Please be there, mentally present, and follow the sequence. So we've been talking now movement and difficulty. The first setback was failure, disaster of the Hijrat movement, and it's a great setback. And secondly, now arrest of the leader was another setback. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
when we are talking about the setbacks, it would mean that now we are discussing about the failure. How did this movement end or fail at the end? So this is now one other important setback to the movement. Third, and the major one was what? Number third, and it was that Gandhi. What did Gandhi do? Gandhi called non-cooperation movement, because he was heading the non-cooperation movement. So he called the non-cooperation movement off in 1922. In 1922, Gandhi called non-cooperation movement off. Was it a setback to the movement, Khilafat movement, or not? What do you think? Have you heard my question? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Then I'm audible. So if you don't know, it's okay. Just respond. Why are you keeping like just quiet, and you think that I wouldn't. Do I understand silence? Can I read people's mind?
No, sir.
So just say no, we don't know. That's okay. I'm not asking the question. I'm looking for response. I want that if you are there or not. So, what was my question? Remember, I said that Gandhi called the movement off, non-cooperation movement off. Was this a setback to the Khilafat movement or not? What do you think?
No, sir.
Yes,
Hmm?
sir.
It was a big setback because Gandhi, I mean, he was a very popular leader, and with him, there was 80% of the non-Muslim population backing the movement. When he called it off, so movement lost the huge support actually. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
Yes.
he called the movement off, and this was a big setback. Now the question is, why did he call it off? Why did he call it off? Because he was the supporter, enthusiastic supporter of the movement, and he started the non-cooperation movement. So what happened? Why did he call it off? Right? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So now I tell you, if you remember, we discussed Satyagraha. I gave you a 4-mark question as well. How many of you did it? And if you did it, what's Satyagraha? Now you don't remember and you keep silent.
I got disconnected. Can you repeat?
Satyagraha. I said, what's Satyagraha? What was Gandhi's approach? We discussed that Gandhi's approach was passive resistance, non-violence, right? You remember
Yes, sir.
that? Okay. Now he started the non-cooperation movement, and non-cooperation movement meant to be non-violent, not the violent one. And what were the methodologies? Boycotts, strikes, demonstrations. And you see, it was becoming violent. 53 people died in Bombay, right?
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
Gandhi was not the advocate of the violent, any sort of violent movement. So what happened? There was another major violence to follow, and it was in the southern part of India. In which part?
Southern part.
Southern part. And Mopla, it is known as Mopla uprising. Now, Mopla uprising, you can say a community, okay? Mopla uprising, 10,000 Moplas in the southern India, they were up against the Hindu landlords and also the British, and they took control of a police station. They took the weapons, and the uprising was there, and British and troops and 4,000 Moplas were killed. Now this was a huge development, and later on, another famous incident happened that these um, what we call rebels, they took over a police station in Chorachori village, and they put on police station on fire, and 21 policemen were killed. Now when this Mopla uprising led to 4,000 deaths of Moplas, and then this Chorachori incident, police station was set on fire, and these policemen were burnt alive. So because of this violence which was now going on and became part of the non-cooperation movement, Gandhi feared now, you can read here, Gandhi had already begun to have reservation about the wisdom of his civil disobedience campaign, which had resulted in disturbance in Madras, Calcutta, and Bombay. Now he decided that India was not yet ready for the mass campaign, and he called the movement off. His decision upset many Congress leaders and also Muslim too. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now,
Yes.
now Gandhi realized in 22 that India was not yet ready. Who said this before, that India was not yet ready and opposed the non-cooperation movement? Look, when we were talking about Swaraj, we discussed that many Muslim leaders agreed with the idea of self-rule for India, non-cooperation movement. Okay, though Muhammad Ali Jinnah Rahmatullah thought India was not yet ready. So in 1920, when Gandhi started the civil disobedience movement, non-cooperation movement and excited people to boycott the British, Quaid-e-Azam said that no, we are not yet ready for it. And why were we not ready for it? Because India was so divided. There were so many communities, religion, language, culture, and they were not just like a one nation that they need to get rid of the foreign forces and then they can make their own government and live in peace. No, there were many divisions in Indian society, and that is why India was not ready. India still had to see and sort out many issues. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So in 1920, Quaid-e-Azam did not approve a non-cooperation movement. Did he support non-cooperation movement of Gandhi in 1920? Yes or no? Did Quaid-e-Azam approve non-cooperation movement of Gandhi?
No, sir.
No. Okay, other than Abdul Rafi, you guys, what are you doing here? He is responding, Noor Muhammad, you guys who are not turning the cam on, there were only 4 people, and I'm going to call your parents and I'll send the message in the group that these guys are not following and please see, like one way and the other way, calling directly your parents. And why I've just read a statement and then I made a question. Did Qaid Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah support Gandhi's non-cooperation movement of 1920?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, no. Why are not you participating and answering before?
No, sir.
No, sir. And Gandhi, what did Gandhi believe now in 1920? That is, Khilafat, his non-cooperation movement was it a right step? Did Gandhi believe in 1920
sir.
that was no? So now he realized that India was not yet ready. Why? Because India was so divided and there were so many communities, culture, languages, people, religion, and if they were able to drive British out, let's suppose that if Indian for the time being cooperate with each other and force the British to leave India, what would happen afterwards? British, let's suppose British left India. Now what would happen afterwards? Would Hindus and Muslim and Sikh and Christian and amongst Hindus many different groups and culture and language, would they be able to live peacefully? No. And that is why I said that no, we are not yet ready to drive British out. What will we do? What we will do afterwards? No fighting, killing. So driving British out of India was not a big question. First, they needed to see this as well. So this is what happened. 22, the movement was called off, and you know why was the movement called off? Two reasons. If it is asked the question, why did Gandhi call the non-cooperation movement off? So number one, that is philosophy of satyagraha, passive resistance, non-violent. And then there were, you will say that evidences of violence in Bombay 1921, 53 people died. In southern India, Mopla uprising 1922, 4,000 Mopla died. And in 1922 February, in Chorachori district of Gorakhpur district, Chorachori village, 21 policemen were killed. And there were also scene of violence and evidences of violence elsewhere in India, disturbances in Calcutta, Madras, Bombay. So because of all this, finally he realized now that we are not yet ready and India was not prepared, and this was the problem. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is what was happening in India. So movement had already suffered setbacks in India, which were Indian reasons, like Hijrat movement failure, number one. Number two, tell me the reasons, tell me the setbacks movement faced during 1921 and 22.
S- Uh, uh, Sir, because the movement was supposed to be non-violent, but it became violent.
No, please follow the way I'm telling you. Very simple, brief. Failure of Hijrat movement, number one, setback. Number two, arrest of leaders. Ali brothers were arrested and other two great setback. Called of non-cooperation movement. This in this explanation you will say that violence and mob uprising and Chori Chora incident and 53 people died. That's related to non-cooperation. So Gandhi called. So these three major setbacks I have discussed with you. I feel that you guys should write these points, because when you will write these points, only then you will remember it. Are you following me? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
So don't sit idle. When I am writing, what's the purpose of me writing on? When I'm writing here, I wrote, okay, failure of Hijrat movement, one setback. Second, I wrote Ali brothers were arrest of leader. Third, I wrote Gandhi called non-cooperation movement off. So you should write at least these major points. Then you can recall them easily, and then you can actually explain them easily. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Clear.
So why are not you taking notes? Everybody should sit with pen, pencil, and notebook. Number one thing, and your book as well. That these two things should be there always with you in the lesson. And whatever the points I write, I mention. Why should I be writing? I write only to highlight that this is the point. This is the main. We can discuss key concept and the main things and then the detail, but you should at least write the key concept, the key details. Only then you will be able to. Otherwise, how could you recall that, Paul? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, this is what was happening in India. So major setbacks, three major setbacks we discussed, the movement suffered now in India. But as you know that this movement was about Ottoman, and it was not that only Muslim were involved in this. There were so many people involved in this, so many. So there were British, Allied powers, Turks themselves. So the other development, this is what we were talking about India. But when Treaty of Sevres was announced, do you think that the accept Turks accepted the Treaty of Sevres? Did they accept the treaty?
No, sir.
No. Okay. Now, Caliph, the last Caliph, Muhammad the Sixth, the last Caliph, Muhammad the Sixth, his representative agreed to the treaty. Okay? His representative agreed to the treaty. When they signed the treaty, then in Turkey, there was a opposition to this movement. Do you understand? An opposition. Now, what was the opposition? That Turkey was insulted, humiliated. Its territories were taken back. Its own land was, given to Greece and reduced in size and all that. So they rebelled against Caliph. What did they do then? That they expelled Caliph, deposed him. How? That nationalist Turk movement started, led by Mustafa Kemal Ataturk. So he was the now new leader. He established his parallel government, and they deposed Caliph, expelled Caliph, they abolished Caliphate even. And they expelled all the members of House of Usman from Turkey. And they laid the modern day Turkey, foundation of a modern day Turkey. Is it clear? So this development took
Yes.
place. This development took place in Turkey. So in Turkey there was a rebellion to Treaty of Sevres against the Caliph. Caliph was expelled. Caliph was expelled, and at the end, at the end, the movement ended because the Khilafat themselves abolished by the Turks. So this development took place in Turkey when Turks abolished Caliphate, and then they fought back the Allied powers and they took this modern day Turkey, whatever we have now. So we'll continue with the setback faced by the movement, right? Three we have discussed. Fourth I just mentioned, Treaty of Sevres and its reaction by the Turks and opposition to the Caliph, and Caliph was expelled, and abolishment of the Caliphate itself. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So read and underline, and all these points should be clear with you by the next class. Take care. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz, sir.
Allah Hafiz,
Allah
sir.
Hafiz,
Thank you.
sir.
Allah Hafiz. And those who did not turn the cam on, I know their names and I'm going to call their parents. Take care. Bye.
No, sir.